the impact when it happens. And then we had our visual sighting at Wadi Halfa, which I obtained the photos and sent them. Also, we have got detection. This is me to start, showing this picture of the explosion over there. And also, we have got the USA also reported the peaks and around 37. You will hear more about this. Okay. This is where we start actually. This is Mohammed Al Hassan at Wadi Halfa taking this. And you could see it looks like we have got two explosions here. Actually, the people who live in that area had a different idea because it was end of Ramadan, the fasting month, and they thought this is a sign that Allah has blessed their fasting. And you could see because they interpreted this as Muhammad, the name of Prophet Muhammad, and they interpreted this as Allah, those three lines. So we had to tell, it wasn't easy telling them it's not that. This is an important picture which was taken by Hashim. Hashim, please stand up. You could see because we have references. You could see this is the electric wires, the main body of the explosion is there, and the distance and so on. So we had references, and you can have the start background and start do some calculations about it and distance. Okay, once this happened, we start communicating, and mostly with Peter, and I was trying my best by plotting this point of those three positions, okay, and send it to Peter, and then trying further along the track, again. Then Peter responded by this as a searching area, okay. You could see this is the searching area when we are communicating. This area here, you don't see, these are very hilly areas there because they don't, in color, they are brown, but not compared to this. Our geologists will know this fact, okay? And the search area looked quite enormous. Looks like almost 10 kilometers by almost 70 or 80 kilometers long. And it looks like it's not gonna be an easy job, okay? Also, because studying the wind model and what's happened, as they say, at the top the wind seems to have pushing it to the north, at the bottom is pushing it back to the south. So, again, so it seems we only need, I think that's Chesley, okay, we only need to search along 1 kilometer north of the track line. And we started here, trying the middle line. This is the bottom line, is the track line, 500 meters and 500. By the way, this spot is station 6 here. This spot is station 6, and this is ground zero. So we are preparing our maps to go for the search. Yes. We had a nice lecture. Peter presented it with a lot of attendance. Yes? Yes. Then we started first by trying to get actually people who actually observed the incident, and we found in station 6 quite a few people who were there, and what we were trying to get the direction, how high they were seeing it, trying to confirm how high it is, getting the angles and so on, and everybody will see. That's why I keep following my hand with them to make them tell us exactly where it is. It's not an easy job because you can go up and suddenly you go down, and then you go up like this. It wasn't an easy job, and Peter was patient taking photos. This guy is thinking next about where. This is the station master, who was actually asleep when he was woken up by the strength of the light impacting his eyes. He jumped and he looked and obviously got worried about what's going to happen. Okay? Here, this is an old lady. This man is a station master of Wadi Halfa. He's the one who actually observed the parabolas because he was going after the immediately after the prayer. He started seeing massive amount of light coming towards him. He thought it was a car, but I can't hear any car. And then he thought something is happening, maybe somebody sending something to them. So he rushed into his house, closed the door, when he felt safe, he brought his wife, his mother. This is his mother. She was telling us what she actually saw. This is a group. I am combining from the three. This is a group from the Manasir area, trying to tell. This is the people who have done the TV6, the National Geographic, and explained to me what they said. They said actually they were asleep, they got woken up, and they got worried of what they saw, so they took the children and went inside the huts of their house. I said, why were you scared? They said, maybe it is the judgment day. I said, but if it is judgment day, who's going to protect you? And they said, maybe others have sent us some, missile or something like that. Okay. And we ended up pushing their lorry. As you can see, he has beaten me and the people who are doing the float. Okay, we went to the Halfa, and in the Halfa we went to the same spot with the photo. Continue. You could see we're trying to pick the same with the same background, and then you can look and see the star background. Okay? No, okay, yeah. And then we called Hashim, how high, what is your height, how high you are, and then we piled tables to get exactly the same level of his eyes and so on to take the photo. Okay? This is also work being done looking at, because the tail, as you could see it like this, looking at the wind pattern and how the tail is being plotted moving. If you are in the Halfa, okay, the train drift due to the winds, and it depends on how many minutes, and you can see it's more or less forming the same shape. So from eyewitnesses and interviewers, we seem to have got more or less the same as the fireball. We know that a lot of dust, most of the asteroid went into dust, okay, and in the upper atmosphere. And then we know that from actually in Abri, people who saw it at different about 200 kilometers from the Halfa, some of them, you remember, the guy just went flat. People got scared, they didn't know the light. It passes through Akasha, okay? Okay, now we are in the camps. And in the camps, I'm sorry I started by the scorpions. I'm not trying to frighten you, because it's one of the things we came across during the tent, the Land Rovers, and you could see here everybody of the students were really fantastic, and they were sharing, even cleaning, washing, preparing. Next. Okay, the process as we devised over here, and Peter, was, if I allow me, so I was a bit surprised, because when he came, he said, he was hoping for, just discussion and so on. He didn't know we already got a complete program and a setup for the thing. And here we start dividing the student and the staff into 8 groups. Okay? We divide them, next. Then lining them up, and then make them apart. To see standing apart and trying to cover 1 kilometer or 500. Sometimes we did it to cover 2 kilometers when we had enough number of students. Because obviously what we know is it exploded at 37 kilometers up. This type, have anybody found some of it on the ground and so on. So we actually looking at it. The only way I thought we can see it is actually by foot and walking, marching like a broom sweeping the floor. And then we try to show some of them, remind them of what it looks like. I am sure we got exhausted, and the first day he got very exhausted, because every dark stone was picked up as a meter. And you remember, you have 1 kilometer, you have to rush from here to there, and somebody's calling and so on. Okay, sure. Okay, next one. This is the jubilation. I am going to share next one. This is the jubilation when they found the Ferris piece by Muhammad Al-Amin. Actually, he gave us a lot of trouble because he kept finding endless pieces. And it's only me and Peter trying, he seemed he had very sharp eyes. Okay, Diabordo had many pieces. Wasil had many pieces. Continue. Okay, this is the Ferris day. We're very happy. I honestly couldn't imagine me dragging everybody to this place, costing the university to pay for it, and you could have come out empty-handed. Where would I go after that? So you could see that's why it's being recorded my statement. Next. And you can see Peter, everybody's excited. This is the Jazeera newspaper, the Jazeera. And the satellite Jazeera, they decided to go with us and stay until we find the first one. But these are scenery, you know, because every time they start march, different spaces, we have to stop, we have to push, and every time we stop them. Next. The search, the famous photo. Another one of the famous photos of the search. Okay, and obviously because we're in the middle of nowhere, we have to provide them with food, with water. So every group, they gather them, you know, we're only giving them one meal, so there'll be a lot of hardship. And, you know, the groups sit together, and then we bring the food and the water. Here they are. This is Sadia, who's here. Next. More of the search and the spread. This is in the second trip, we were trying to find a way in. We couldn't find a whole day, we couldn't find a way in. I will talk about it next. More search. Next. Next. Okay. More search. Okay, this is because it has a story. We reach, this is on the second trip, we reach this ridge of mountains. It's about 19, from the railway is about 19.5 kilometers. But the buses couldn't go further more than 10 kilometers. It was very soft, and we got worried about getting stuck. And so we walked, but we stopped near the ridge, and then we had the two pickups, double cab, and I put the girls into the double cab. I said before it gets dark, I send them over to the bus. The pickup lost their way. Okay, and so we stayed until it's getting dark, and then we decided to march. And you could see gathered, you know, the student, the male student. It's not clear over here, but that's us marching. We only went about 5 kilometers when you start seeing the lights of the cars and so on. Just shows how we deal with finding. He's a geologist. He's finding a piece among these rocks. Okay. And we may have a bit of a discussion about it. And then we are very happy one piece is being found. The girls finding, okay, continue because you find many, everybody wants to be, go back a little bit. This is the pieces that found by Peter, but we're claiming it in this picture. Next. This is the process. You have measuring the GPS to locate this. This piece, when we found, we said it is doubtful, and we found it in the second trip. But now I think when we looked at it, we still beat it, but it's got a very nice thick crust. Yes? Yes. You looked at it 2 days ago. Okay. The famous picture of various pieces. This is one that's found, which got all the oriented. Could you see it? Next. As you could see, different, you know, even surface, physical texture surface. Okay, it obviously just physically looking at it, it is not a homogeneous asteroid. Next. This is. Can I have this slide? Okay, it is showing, but these two pieces, because I want people to look at this. When this was found, and you could see it's got, apart from the fusion layer, it's got a very funny layer around it. And this one, more or less similar, but it's very shiny like glass. When I found it, I thought some animal of the desert did something on it, to be honest. Okay? And we're still there debating about it. It's got a very thin fusion layer. The Czech group looked at it, and we had a lot of discussion. The geologists over there is still about it. But if you look at the side, you'll see, you know, where it hit the ground. You know, it's got a mark of falling and hitting the ground. Maybe you can look at it and you can see more further of it. But looks, if it is, then it's a very precious. And trying to understand why it's got this glazing glass thing. Next. Every day in the meeting, we have a meeting, okay? Sitting and discussing with the work of the day. You can see me, it's very cold. I bought this coat in Canada actually, but I was using it in the desert. Okay, next. Explaining, recapping, and you could see this is the prizes we've been getting. One bag is full, another bag here, another bag here. And this is Trevon. Went with us on the Paris, and this good lady. Okay, Trevon, where are you? Yes. Trevon made a fuss. Why is good lady? Ragged is going to walk. She can't do it. He made a hell of a fuss. He was angry because me and him were going by the cars like this. And to his bad luck, she found one. So he said he had a peaceful 40 years of marriage. Now she's not going to let him live down. Okay, next, group photos. Okay, coming here in the physics department, looking working, finding density by sound. Me and Peter, Ayman, and yeah. Okay, just to summarize the last 5 or 6 summarizing. This is the ferry strip. Okay, this is the area. This is GBS area. This is the area we have covered. Okay, this is the railway. It is about 28 kilometers up to here. Obviously, the first day the student will not go more than 3 kilometers. Then furthermore, okay. And this is where the pieces are being made. Okay. Okay. This is our trial, me and Trifon by car. We thought we'd find the big pieces because it's smaller coming to our big pieces, but we couldn't find anything. Okay. Next. This is for the second trip because this is the railway here. The second trip was supposed to go all the way that way. Please do not get misguided. These are not openings. These are sand, slopes from top of the mountains. That's what we thought. And when we planned, we thought we'll go inside this area and say, actually, next one. Here it shows. This is the first trip. The second trip, we actually went that way. It's extremely difficult terrain. Okay. Going on at this, we couldn't go any further. Here is just a sea of sand dunes. And so we, and then we went back. The next day, I had to go this way. But I had also, because I had a large number of students, okay, and I had 2 things in my mind, 3 things in my mind. First, how to get them to keep working while we're searching with those 4-wheel drives. But the second thing, I could, from the first, the photo, you could see 2 explosions, okay? So I was not very comfortable with one, explosion that actually limited itself to the peak is along 1 kilometer north of the trajectory line. Some of the pieces are found on the border of the trajectory line. So I requested from the team that's there to go and look again on the trajectory line. The third day, I wanted them to look further south the trajectory line. And massive. Here we only, all the way from here, along here, we only found about 15. There is a 16 one, but obviously not related to this asteroid. And imagine, just to do 6 kilometers, to do 3 kilometers and so on, we found 77 big one. And one that we literally had to dig. It became very clear to us, this cannot be the line of the peak. I had hoped Stephen Chesley will be here to remark on this. Okay? Because even recent calculation by him did not go more than what, 200 or 100 meters? Huh? Yeah, next time, okay, I will shut about it. Okay. So it became very clear, okay, there is, the peak is not along here, it must be south by about 1.5 kilometers south, okay? Okay. This is a final, because then with the third trip, we start going across, trying to see the field, the strewn field, how big it is. And we went down, and you could see the number of very large and big ones over here. Actually, the largest one is about 370 something grams. Okay, I've got another one over 300. And then obviously we did another cross. This is about almost 4 kilometers this way. This is about almost 7 or 6 kilometers this way. And then we went around here, and here the total first trip is about 15. Second trip is around 37. A third trip is almost about 230 something pieces. Very small pieces over there. Okay? And then since we found there, we realized this must be the peak, we went there. Now the question is that why, if this is the trap, if up-to-date data does not seem to move it further, why this is the question, the peak over here. The other question is that because one piece is found here near towards the station, okay, even there is a larger piece was found somewhere around here, okay, relative to the size we found over here, okay, what does that mean? And what is being heard by the witnesses and by the USA satellite, the 3 peaks, people always told us they heard doo-doo-doo of the 3 explosion. If you go to the first photo, you could see clearly signs of as if one break and so on. Maybe as it's going in, it broke into 2 or 3 pieces and then they all explode. If that's the case, do we have other peaks going that way or going that way? All this needs to be looked. Another question, all the trip, I'll just show you what I have. All the trip from here, even including the time we spent really hard time searching inside here, all the way, we couldn't find ferries, we couldn't find larger pieces, okay? Maybe you may say the larger pieces are along here, okay? The second thing, we couldn't find a piece, actually, along this area. And here, that's, and I'm sure I'll get it down to you. Here, this area, we did survey it. It seemed from the railway station, about 1.8 kilometers, there are no pieces over there. So they need some more work. I hope we can establish a look. We want to go further and see what's exactly there from the point of explosion. And we want to see, you know, here, why this one went up, since most of them. And anyhow, it's still very interesting, it's still very wide open. I hope I have given you enough.
Could you tell us the dates of the second and third expeditions?
The second was actually, we started it on the 24th. The second we started on the 24th of December, and we came back on the 31st of December.
The third?
The third was from the
last day of February and then the first 3 days of March.
Yeah, it's the first 3-4 days of March. Yeah. No questions?
Any more questions?
If it was easy to distinguish the risks from the land pieces when you collect pieces, yeah, it was easy to distinguish from the land pieces.
The first day or so, especially with new ones, new students and so on, it was not easy. As I said, every black stone is a meteorite. But then within the third day, they was challenging us. You know, don't come, it's a meteorite, it's a confirmed meteorite and so on. So you need, with a few hours of experience, you will start to distinguish.
The color of the piece is black. Is it because there is explosion? It's paint? اتحرقت يعني ولا؟ بعدين in 1918 يعني في Nubian desert Kajbar village. سنة 80 a piece, big piece. It was not black, it was gray, faint gray. Big piece fall down from the sky. I said to my mother, this stone is fell from the sky. She said to me, are you mad? وشيلنا القطعة ورميناها، يا ريت لو كنت خفيتها.
she said in 1980, a piece fell from the sky. And she asked her mother, is this Niazek, is this a meteorite? And her mother said, are you crazy? So she threw away that piece.
Thanks a lot. You have not mentioned about the fixes of the camera use. How many pixels was that camera? In length, you have not indicated.
I think we had many different cameras. Those photos from different cameras, from high pixels, which could be 10 megapixel, to the student were using even 5, 4 megapixels. That's why some of the photos are very high quality, some of the photos are not high quality.
Did you recover any pieces from the locusts and from that area?
Yes, one piece by one of the guys at the station, because every day they sat with us, they saw how it looks like. And one day he was walking away from the station, okay, that's west, and he came with a piece. And he gave us the piece to make sure it is with us.
Did they know about this?
Oh yes, they told us how it happened, what did they say, and how they got frightened, and the impact and so on.
About what you are doing now?
What we are doing or what they are doing?
Now.
What they always were, they are waiting for us at the moment. Because we call what the Halfa by telephone and then they send a message down to Mahatta Sitta. That's the only way by the railway once a week train. They say they already sent a carriage for a quarter. So maybe you can have a shower there, but it's all allowed, nobody will have a shower.
Muhammad Hassan from Global Channel. In fact, this question for Mr. Shaddad is for my personal interest first, and then for my media diplomat. I'm asking, I've seen the pictures, and my question is, I have noticed that, as Shaddad also indicated, that there is a difference between two pieces together with one piece. So it looks as if Mr. Shaddad and his group were archaeologists who are collecting artifacts from a side, the second side. So why is this difference? And if you have studied the component or the formation of the pieces themselves, so are they made of stone or there's metal?
The question is directed to the next session. Because the next session is speak about the
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. رأيت قبل أن أبارح المكان أن أعبر عن شعوري بالسرور العظيم بلقاء الضيوف الأسترونومرز. الواقع أن الفلكي هو رجل خاص في هذا الموضوع، لأنه يدرس آيات الله في الآفاق، وآيات الله في الآفاق. The signs of God in the horizon are all the stars, the planets, the comets, everything on the sky. And this is related to all religions. What we see in the sky, these signs of God are, it shows, God mentioned that we show you the signs of God to believe that there is a God, one God. And actually, a real astronomer is a believer because he is studying the signs of God in the horizon. I wrote a book about the signs of God in the horizon about 20 years ago in English. And I left 3 copies about that the Quran